You've scanned hundreds of them. Restaurant menus, product packaging, event tickets, subway ads. A tiny square of black and white noise. And somehow, in under a second, your phone knows exactly where to send you. But has anyone ever actually explained how that works? Because it's not magic. It's not just a barcode, but fancier. What's happening inside that square is a genuinely clever piece of engineering. And once you understand it, you'll never look at one the same way again. Let's start with what a QR code actually is. QR stands for Quick Response. It was invented in 1994 by a Japanese engineer named Masahiro Hara, working at a Toyota subsidiary called Denso Wave. The original problem wasn't restaurant menus, it was car parts. Factory workers needed a way to track components faster than a traditional barcode allowed. Barcodes are one-dimensional. They encode data in a single row of lines, read left to right. They max out at around 20 characters. Hara's insight was to go two-dimensional, stack data horizontally and vertically. Suddenly, the same physical space could hold dramatically more information, up to 7,089 numeric characters or 4,296 alphanumeric characters in a single code. That's the difference between a sticky note and a full page of text, folded into a square the size of a postage stamp. So, what are you actually looking at? The three large squares in the corners are called finder patterns. They tell your camera exactly where the code is, what angle it's at, and how large it is. No matter how you hold your phone, a smaller fourth square handles distortion on curved surfaces like bottles or billboards. The alternating black and white stripes running between the corners are timing patterns, helping the scanner divide the grid into precise cells. Everything else, all that seemingly random black and white, is data encoded in binary. Black equals 1. White equals 0. Ones and zeros spelling out your URL, your Wi-Fi password, your event ticket, arranged across the grid in a specific reading path. Now, here's where it gets interesting. What happens when the code gets scratched, printed on a crumpled surface, photographed in bad lighting? It still works, usually. That's because of Reed-Solomon error correction, a mathematical system developed in 1960 by Irving Reed and Gustav Solomon at MIT Lincoln Laboratory. NASA used it in space probes. CD players used it to keep music playing on scratched discs. QR codes use it to stay readable even when part of the square is damaged or obscured. QR codes come in 4 error correction levels. The lowest recovers from about 7% data loss. The highest handles up to 30% damage. That's why you can place a logo in the center of a QR code, and it still scans. The logo is intentionally destroying part of the data, and the error correction math reconstructs what's missing. Redundancy isn't a backup plan. It's baked into the design. There's one more layer most people never hear about: masking. After encoding, large patches of solid black or white cells can confuse a scanner. Too much uniformity makes it hard to distinguish data from structure. So the encoder runs the data through up to 8 different mask patterns, mathematical rules that flip certain cells, and picks whichever produces the most visually balanced result. The mask used is recorded inside the code itself, so the scanner knows exactly how to reverse it before reading the data. You're looking at a square that has been deliberately scrambled to make it easier to read. Denso Wave made the QR standard open and royalty-free, which is largely why it spread so widely. But for years outside Japan, almost no one used them. Smartphones weren't fast enough, and scanner apps were clunky. Then, 2 things changed. Phone cameras became capable of decoding QR codes in real time, and a global pandemic made contactless everything feel urgent overnight. QR code scans surged past 6.8 billion events globally in 2022 alone, according to QR Tiger. The square didn't change. The world caught up.